It is 2 a.m. The house is silent. Her phone is face down on the nightstand because she promised herself she would not check it again. The ceiling above her has become strangely familiar. She has counted the same shadows 3 times now. And no matter what she does, no matter how many times she closes her eyes and tells herself to stop, her mind keeps returning to the same place. You. Today, I am going to tell you exactly what happens inside a woman's mind during those hours. The hours when the distractions of the day have disappeared and there is nothing left to hide behind. Because what happens at 2 a.m. is not random. It is not insignificant. It is one of the clearest signs of genuine emotional attachment that exists. And once you understand what is actually happening in those quiet hours, you will never underestimate the power of the moments you create with her during the day. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you will understand something most men never grasp. Because by the end of this video, you will understand something most men never grasp. The most important moments in attraction do not happen when you are together. They happen later, when she is alone, when her guard is completely down, when there is nothing left to perform for and nothing left to manage. That is when you find out how she truly feels. Here is the first thing happening at 2 a.m. Her brain is replaying specific moments, not entire conversations, not the whole evening, specific moments. The way you looked at her when she said something that mattered, the pause before you responded, the one that told her you were actually thinking, not just waiting for your turn to speak, the exact words you used that felt different from what everyone else says. Neuroscience tells us that the brain does not store memories as continuous footage. It stores emotionally significant fragments, snapshots. And the fragments that get replayed most often at night are the ones tagged as emotionally significant by the nervous system in real time. This means that somewhere during your interaction, without either of you fully realizing it, her brain marked a moment as important. And now, hours later, alone in the dark, that moment keeps surfacing, again and again, like her mind is trying to understand something it has not fully processed yet. The second thing happening at 2 a.m. is something most men would find surprising. She is trying to talk herself out of it. This is the part nobody tells you. A woman lying awake thinking about a man is not always a peaceful experience for her. Often it is the opposite. She is having an internal argument with herself. One side of her mind is saying, "This feels different. This feels real. Pay attention to this." The other side is saying, "Be careful. You have been wrong before. Do not get ahead of yourself." This internal tension, this push and pull between hope and self-protection is exhausting, and it is precisely why she cannot fall asleep. Her nervous system is trying to resolve something that her conscious mind has not yet allowed itself to fully accept. If you understood how much energy she is spending trying not to feel what she is already feeling, you would understand why patience matters so much in the early stages of connection. She is not playing games. She is genuinely working through something real. The third thing happening at 2 a.m. is replay with analysis. She is not just remembering moments, she is analyzing them. Did he mean that the way I think he meant it? Was that a meaningful look, or am I imagining things? Why do I keep thinking about the way he said my name? This analytical replaying is actually a sign of deep cognitive engagement. Psychologists refer to this as rumination, though in this context, it is not always negative. When someone occupies significant mental real estate, the brain works overtime trying to understand and categorize the experience. And here is what is fascinating. The intensity of this analysis often correlates directly with how emotionally significant the connection felt. Casual interactions do not get this kind of attention. Forgettable men do not earn 3 a.m. analysis sessions. Only the ones who created something real do. The fourth thing happening at 2 a.m. is comparison. Without consciously deciding to do it, she begins comparing you to her past experiences, to other men, to the version of connection she has always hoped existed but rarely found. And here is the important part. If you have done even a few of the things that create genuine emotional safety, if you listened without performing, if you were present without rushing, if you noticed something real about her rather than something obvious, you are already standing out in that comparison. Because most of her past experiences likely involved men who were either too eager or too distant, too much or too little. And when someone finally gets the balance right, calm presence without neediness, genuine interest without pressure, that balance becomes the new measuring stick against everyone else. She may not say this to you directly, she may not even fully admit it to herself yet, but somewhere in that quiet comparison happening at 2 a.m., you are winning. The fifth thing happening at 2 a.m. is imagination. This is the part that surprises most men the most. She begins imagining future moments. Not elaborate fantasies necessarily, small things. What it would feel like to see you again. What you might say next time. Whether you are thinking about her too. This forward-projecting imagination is one of the clearest signs of emotional investment that exists. The brain does not waste energy imagining futures with people it does not care about. Imagination requires emotional fuel, and if her mind is spending that fuel constructing scenarios involving you, that is not a small thing. That is significant. The sixth thing happening at 2 a.m. is the question she is most afraid to ask herself. Does he feel this too? This question sits underneath almost everything else happening in her mind during these hours, because here is the vulnerability that nobody talks about. A woman lying awake thinking about a man has no guarantee that he is thinking about her too. She cannot see inside your mind. She can only replay what she experienced and try to interpret what it meant. And that uncertainty, that not knowing, is part of what keeps her awake. If she trusted completely that you felt the same way, she could relax into the feeling instead of analyzing it from every angle. But uncertainty creates vigilance, and vigilance keeps the mind active long after the body wants to rest. This is why consistency matters so much in early connection. Not grand gestures, just consistent, genuine presence that slowly builds the trust that eventually allows her to stop questioning and simply feel. The seventh and final thing happening at 2 a.m. is the moment of surrender. Eventually, sometimes after an hour of analysis, sometimes longer, something shifts. She stops trying to talk herself out of it. She stops analyzing every detail. And for just a moment, she allows herself to simply feel what she feels without judging it or managing it or trying to protect herself from it. In that brief window, right before sleep finally takes over, she allows herself to admit, even if only internally, even if only for a moment, I really like this person. That moment of surrender is fragile. It does not happen every night. But when it does happen, it is one of the purest, most honest moments of emotional recognition that exists. And it happens because of something you created. Not through tricks, not through techniques, through genuine presence and authentic connection that her nervous system recognized as significant before her conscious mind even understood why. So here's what I want you to understand. The moments that matter most in attraction are rarely the loud ones. They are the quiet ones. The pause before you respond. The way you listen without rushing to speak. The genuine observation that shows you actually noticed her. These small, unhurried moments are the ones that follow her home, that sit with her in the silence, that return to her mind at 2 a.m. when there is nothing left to distract her from what she actually feels. You may never know exactly which moment it was. You may never hear about the nights she lay awake thinking about you. But somewhere, in the quiet hours when the world goes still, the moments you created with genuine presence are doing work you cannot see, building something that words alone could never build. And that is the real power of authentic connection. It does not need an audience. It does not need recognition. It simply needs to be real. And real things, the truly real ones, have a way of finding her in the silence every single time.